The RX100 IV really does improve over the M3 in most, though not all, aspects of performance, and ranks as one of the fastest compacts we've seen. Like other cameras with zoom lenses, and unchanged from the M3, it's relatively slow to start up since you've got to wait for the lens to extend. Once extended, though, it's consistently fast, about 0.2 to 0.3 second to focus and shoot, regardless of lighting conditions, and 0.2 second for 2 sequential shots, in both RAW and JPEG. With flash enabled, that time increases to about 2.3 seconds, are also unchanged from the M3. The biggest deal for the M4 is its much hyped continuous shooting performance. On one hand, its tested rate of 5.7 frames per second for JPEGs and 5 FPS for RAW, both for at least 30 shots and with autofocus, is very good for this class. But the camera's actual high-speed shooting is far more complex than a spec conveys. With the mechanical shutter enabled and with autofocus, it drops to 2.4 FPS, the faster rates require the electronic shutter. One of the differences between the M4 and its predecessors is the ability to manually select mechanical or electronic shutter, though there is still an auto option, in the limited number of situations where you can forego autofocus and auto exposure. Usually when people are standing in one place and moving just parts of their bodies, Sony's Speed Priority Continuous can do 10 FPS with the mechanical shutter and 16 FPS with electronic. There's quite a wait for the camera to process the photos before you can get into playback or the menus, though it doesn't stop you from continuing to shoot. The autofocus works pretty well, although when you use continuous AF and see the way it pulses for every exposure, you can tell why the burst with AF is so much slower. I didn't have much luck with the object tracking autofocus either, as, like most, it's easily distracted by objects which cross your subject's path. The single-shot autofocus is pretty good, but the wide area AF, Sony's version of leaving the choice of AF subject to the camera, performs about as well as other cameras. That is, when zoomed out it selects everything in the scene, and when zoomed in it selects the closest objects.